What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Thrill Life podcast here on Coasters and Things YouTube channel. I'm Nick from Beyond the Thrills, here with Jason. Coasters and Things as always. What's going on, dude?
Not a whole lot. How about you?
Good. I'm ready to dive in. We have some major news to dive into today. We're also going to do our top 5 flat rides later in the episode, but we are joined with a guest. Again, we are joined with Christian, Coasting the Planet, and Variety Entertainment on YouTube. So, Christian, we're excited to have you on. How you doing today, man?
Doing pretty great. Thanks for having me on. I haven't been on the podcast before, so hopefully I don't say anything too stupid. So.
Yeah, it should be a good time. But before we do our top 5 flats, we must give our thoughts on this because this dropped this morning. And this has kind of been one of those topics that has been up in the air for a while. There were talks with SeaWorld at one point. But Six Flags and Cedar Fair will officially join forces and merge as one company in an $8 billion deal. So, Jason, let me just read off everything and then you can give your full thoughts. The company will be called Six Flags, so it will not be called Cedar Flags or Six Fair or anything stupid like that. The headquarters will be held in Charlotte, North Carolina, so I would assume right by Carowinds.
Yes.
President and CEO will be Richard Zimmerman, who is the current head at Cedar Fair, and then the executive chairman will be Salim Basul, who is the head at Six Flags right now. And then DC and Peanuts IP will apparently remain the same, and all of the parks will not be renamed or rebranded as of right now. So I'll give my thoughts, and then you guys can go fully in. So I want to give a shout out to a good friend of ours real quick, Nate Hawk0G, who you've seen all over the channel. So he posted a tweet earlier today that got me thinking a little bit. He said, this new Cedar Fair and Six Flags company could end up with so much money that they build new parks and not tear down existing ones. That got me a little optimistic because I think that with the companies merging, they're going to make so much money that, yeah, I think he makes a good point. We could see new parks being built in the coming years. So that's, I guess, my only optimistic reason to all this. Otherwise, I don't feel great about it because I do love, they're different. There's pros and cons to each company. I think Six Flags does a lot well, and I think Cedar Fair does a lot well. I will say Cedar Fair parks are definitely a lot nicer than Six Flags parks, but maybe with these two companies joining forces, all the parks will, be as nice as, say, King's Dominion or Cedar Point because those parks are very, very nice. So those are my thoughts in brief. Let's hear from Jason.
Yeah, so at first I was like, oh, this is terrible. However, the more I think about it, it might not be as bad as people are saying it will be, if I'm completely honest. Because thinking about it from a business perspective, I'm thinking the reason why this happened, we knew Six Flags was not in a very good financial state. They were the ones who approached Cedar Fair about this. I'm thinking like the reason that this is happening is that Cedar Fair is not in a very good financial state either right now. And they need each other's help in order to save each other's companies. They're like over $2.5 million in debt.
Yeah. So, Christian, what are your thoughts?
Well, I'm a little bit pessimistic about it just because, well, as you mentioned, we got two very different chains. It seems a little weird having them combined and then having, so much of the U.S. theme park market in the hands of one company could be a little, I'm a little worried about, how that's going to work out. I'd like to be optimistic, but I mean, in other industries, we've seen large mergers in the past that are usually more negative than positive. So, but hopefully I'm wrong and hopefully it's great. But yeah.
I'll tell you, Nick, Christian is absolutely right. Mergers between two big companies like this usually end up being more negative than positive.
Yeah, I'm still iffy on it. Again, I agree with a lot of what Nate said in his tweet. Yes, there this could be great and they could make a ton of money, or it could go the complete opposite direction and this could be awful. We don't know.
I know. One thing I'm a little worried about is I'd be worried that Six Flags would potentially run one or some of these parks into the ground, kind of like they did with Jaga Lake when they ran that park into the ground.
There are a lot of questions about for the most part, a lot of these parks are in different markets, but some of them are not. Like in, we know CGA is closing anyway, but that and Discovery.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Next year?
I don't know when.
We don't know when. We don't know when it will be. But
Here, I just see a lot of situations where you got two parks right next to each other now, and like, what are they going to do about that? They could keep operating them both, or they could close one. I don't know.
Here's the thing, though. Six Flags doesn't own all of their properties. Shareholders own certain Six Flags parks. Cedar Fair, on the other hand, owns all their properties, which as of right now, yes, they are still owning California's Great America. So I'll include that for now. So as of right now, yes, they are still owning all their properties. This merger between the two companies, Six Flags has approached Cedar Fair twice before about it, both times of which they declined previously.
Yeah, again, this has been in talks for a number of years. Anything else you guys want to add?
That's about it as far as this.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's all I wanted to throw in there. But again, it's pretty crazy that I woke up to this today. So anyway, we are going to do our top 5 flat rides. So instead of our normal 5 topics in a special segment, we're just going to do something a little bit different today since we have Christian on as a guest. And be sure to check out our top 5 most underrated coasters that we did with CJ a few weeks ago. Yeah. That episode, or this episode, is going to be very similar to that episode, a very similar format. So we're going to go from 5 to 1, and we're each going to take turns. So
yeah,
I'll start with a ride that I rode for the first time this summer. I don't know why it took me so long to hit this one, but my number 5 is the Flyers at Knoebels. They are very, very cool. They are as great as everyone says they are. You really can snap them like crazy. My uncle is definitely a pro at them, so I learned from the best. This is, a guy who's been riding it for a number of years. But it was my 4th visit to Knoebels when I rode it, and yeah, I had never experienced it before, and they were as great as everyone says they are. Definitely a notch above the Zamperla ones, like the ones at Dorney. I think there's ones at Six Flags America I did before too. You find them all over, but these are definitely the best Flyers I've done. So number 5, Flyers at Knoebels. Jason?
All right. One thing real quick, when I was making this list, I kind of forgot about the Knoebels Flyers, but looking at my list, I don't think they would have made it anyway.
It just barely made it. There was a certain drop tower. I'm not going to give it away, but there was a drop tower that I almost threw on there over it. But I figured I'd throw the Flyers because I know my uncle's watching, and he'd be glad if I put it on there.
Okay. For my number 5, I'm going with Zamperla Giant Discoveries and Giga Discoveries. These rides are so good. The ones I've done are the ones at Six Flags Over Georgia, Six Flags Great Adventure, and Six Flags New England. These are the best Frisbee rides, if you ask me. I like them better than the Huss ones. I like them better than the Mondial ones.
What's Max Air at Cedar Point?
That's a Huss.
That's a Huss, right? Yeah. I knew that wasn't Zamperla. It's good, but I definitely agree the Zamperla ones are better.
I haven't done a Giant Discovery yet, but I did the Huss one. I did the Huss one at Kings Island, and it was a little underwhelming, if I'm being completely honest. So.
Well, the Huss ones, they have really big and bulky restraints.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Christian, have you been to Six Flags Over Georgia?
No, it's kind of funny. It's not that far away. It's almost kind of become a joke at this point, just how long I can go without going there, especially since I've driven past it twice to go to Fun Spot. But...
Yeah, and I've tried.
I was going to say, you've been on Airy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've tried to get you to go to Six Flags Over Georgia with me, and it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, we'll get there.
One day. Yeah.
Next year,
No,
if
it's
not-
I really liked it. But anyway, they have a giant discovery there. We didn't do it when we were there. Pandemonium. It's in a weird spot. It's like in a back corner.
Yeah, it's in the back of the corner where Thomastown used to be.
Yeah, yeah. If I ever go back to over Georgia, I would like to try it just to compare to the other ones that I've been on. But let's hear your number 5, Christian.
So my list is a little weird because, well, it's hard to rank these. But so I ended up kind of just going with some that were kind of more unique experiences for me. But we'll get to some more thrilling ones later. This isn't really not that it's not really a thrill ride. It's just not a thrill ride. But for number 5, I have Carolina Sky Tower at Carowinds. Now, you could argue whether that is a flat ride or not. But so it's one of those observation towers. I think they're Intamins, right? Observation towers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you
I
go,
think so.
Yeah, you like go in, you sit down, it kind of rotates and lifts up. And I just think those rides are really cool. Gives you a view of the park and everything.
I was so scared that you were going to say the nebulas at the island in Pigeon Forge.
No. those are I like those better than you did, but not top 5 worthy.
When I was creating this list, I went on Zimpera's website and I came across the nebulas and I was like, well, I know what's not going to be on my list.
Yeah. But Carolina Sky Tower is fun. I like kind of the observation kind of rides, and that's kind of a dying breed of rides. I mean, you see them at a lot of parks, but they're not a lot of them. Not many parks really have them, and a lot of them aren't operating most of the time. That was the thing with Carolina Sky Tower. I just rode it last year because it had been broken every time I've been there. And the audio because it plays audio with some history of the park, which I always find.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's pretty cool. That's similar to like the Kisses Tower at Hershey Park. They have the audio spiel.
Yeah, and it's been updated as recently. Well, the audio is from 2019. You can tell because they talk about their newest thrill, Copperhead Strike. But at least it's that up to date, because I half expected it to be like a spiel from the 90s that they never switched out. But
I mean, and that is their newest roller coaster, so it's fitting. Yeah. Some will argue that it's not a flat ride. I'm sure we'll have a couple comments down below that say, your number 5 isn't a flat ride, man." Yeah, but
I'm not sure, to be honest.
I would say it's a flat ride. I would. Why not? Well, it's not a dark ride.
Yeah.
And it's not a walkthrough attraction.
In a category of its own. It's just an observation tower.
Yeah, no, I think that's I think that's a good number 5. But anyway, my number 4, Jason has been on this one. Sure Shot at Casino Pier.
Yeah.
My favorite S&S tower. I've been on a number of S&S towers. Hershey Triple Tower, all 3 of them. Hershey, Reese's, and Kisses. Dr. Doom's Free Fall or Fear Fall, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
At Islands of Adventure is pretty good. Double Shot at Castaway Cove. Yeah, there's a number of these that I've been on, but Power Tower at Cedar Point. But Sure Shot is without a doubt my favorite. I think, facing the ocean and the giant Ferris wheel adds a lot to the experience, but you basically pay for 2 rides. So you go up and then you stop, you think the ride's over, and they send you again. So you kind of get 2 rides in one, and it has probably the best airtime on any S&S tower that I've ridden. So
Christian, it's the same as Liberty Launch at Holiday World, except you get 2 cycles.
Oh, that's super nice.
Yeah, it's a great ride. So I'm gonna go with Sure Shot at number 4.
Okay, my number 4 is actually it's a set of attractions. They're all the same. I'm going with S&S Scream and Swings for my number 4, including Barnstormer at Dollywood, Skyhawk at Cedar Point, Thunder and Lightning at Lake Compounce, and Hot Seat at Fun Spot Orlando and Fun Spot Atlanta.
Did you do Finnegan's Flyer at BGW?
Oh, yeah. And Finnegan's Flyer. I forgot I did that one. But yeah.
That one looks great. Yeah, that one looks great.
It does. They're all good. I'll say I think Finnegan's Flyer might be my favorite out of all of them. It has a long cycle, way longer than Barnstormers. And you go out across the ravine.
Yeah, I wish I've ridden more of these. Dorney had one a long time ago before they added Kaleidoscope and Dodge 'em, which I think was 2017 or 2018. But
yeah, the more
they're great rides.
the more I ride these, the more I really want to experience a giant canyon swing at Glenwood Caverns. That looks like the best screaming
It's
swing.
insane.
That looks wild. Yeah. I don't. I'm actually a little scared to ride that one. I'm not even gonna lie.
Especially if you're facing like where you're facing the down into the canyon when you swing up.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
one I want to ride real bad.
Yeah, that's got to be easily the scariest one out there.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, Christian, you're number 4.
Number 4, I'm kind of second guessing my own list looking at it, but these are tough decisions. So.
Yeah, it's hard, man. You have to.
Yeah.
We've ridden all 3 of us here have probably ridden over 100 flat rides, maybe even more than that. And well, at least I know I have. You only get 5, so it's hard.
Yeah. So at number 4, I'm going to put the Windseekers. I haven't done the Six Flags Sky Screamers yet, any of them. But Windseekers fun. I used to be, and still to an extent, kind of like I call it a selective fear of heights because like some things just don't bother me. Like Fury 325s, like lift hill, no problem. But then I'll go on like a 50-foot swing ride and it would freak me out. But I kind of got over my fear of these, swing rides. Last year, one of my friends, we went to Kings Island, I think it was last year, and he dragged me on their Windseeker, and I actually really enjoyed it. It's fun. It's, they're actually very smooth. Like watching videos, I thought they'd be a little clunky, but at least in my experience, I did the Kings Island one and the Carowinds one. They're very smooth. They're fun. They should have music on board, but it's so quiet you can't really hear it. But so yeah, no, it's fun. If I had to pick one of the 2, I don't know, I guess the Kings Island one, because everything around Carowinds outside the park that you see is mostly just industrial warehouses and crap. So
the Cedar Point one is really good because of the location.
Yeah, I was gonna say I want to get up to that one for sure because you get the view of the lake and everything. So
Nick, I'll just tell you real quick, a ride that did not make my list is the New England Sky Screamer, because all I remember on that ride is being so scared and wanting off.
So that looks like a whole different level of fear because it's like the chains and like the basket seats.
When did I? 2019. Yeah, I was drawing a blank for a second. When did I go to New England? Yeah, it was 2019, and yeah, that was probably my least favorite ride of the trip.
That all I remember on that ride was being so scared, wanting off, and then I was shaking when I got off that.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd ever do that one again. But anyway, my number 3, right?
Yeah.
Okay. My number 3 is going to be Stratosphere at Knoebels.
Oh yeah. That's a good ride.
Yeah, it's probably the scariest drop tower I've done. Nowhere near the tallest, but yeah, you want to talk about an adrenaline rush. I'd say that's probably the most intense ride at Knoebels.
That's one of the Larson ones, right?
Yeah.
Probably easily. And it's very cool because if you face one side, you're facing Twister. If you face the other side, you're facing Phoenix. So it's one of those rides where no matter where, most of the time they allow you to pick your seat, but if it's one of those rides or one of those days where the park's really crowded and they just try to get as many people on as possible, there's really not a bad seat on that ride because either side you can face a coaster. Where like Shore Shot, for example, you only face the ocean if you're sitting on the one side. So
Lake Winnie has one. Those things are gut punchy.
Yeah, they're great for like smaller parks for sure. I don't know if we'll ever see like a major theme park purchase one of those because the capacity on those rides aren't great. But yeah, they're great rides. I think I still do prefer S&S Towers overall, but this is the last drop tower on my list. So my number 2 and my number 1 are not drop towers. So stay tuned for that.
Nice.
So for my number 3, you actually already mentioned it in your list, Nick. My number 3, I'm going with Shore Shot at Casino Pier. I thought about lumping in all the S&S double shots together. The ones I've done are Shore Shot, Liberty Launch at Holiday World, and Blazer Blast Off at Wild Adventures. Those are the ones I've done, but I gave the edge to Shore Shot over the others because you get a second cycle on it.
Telling you, man, that definitely adds to the experience, and it also makes your wallet happy at the end of the day.
Yeah, I love being thrusted up faster than gravity, and the airtime at the top. You float up out of your seat a lot.
Yeah, Yeah, no, I think the airtime on that one stands alone compared to the rest of these SNS towers for sure.
In my opinion, that SNS tower, that was easily the second best ride at Casino Pier behind Hydrus.
Yeah, I'd say so. Exola Loca is crazy, but yeah, I think I still give it to Sure Shot. Even the skyscraper is crazy, but I do still think I give it to Sure
dude.
Shot. Yeah, I do still give it to Sure Shot though.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Christian.
Nice. For number 3, I got my first drop tower on the list. So I'm doing drop line at Dollywood, which
Nice.
Yeah.
it's not a terribly punchy drop, but you do get views of the Smoky Mountains, so it's hard to complain there. And
There you go.
Yeah, so good drop tower. I don't really have that much else to say about it, but although it is much, I mean, the ride experience is the same, but the loading and unloading procedure has gotten a lot worse since, well, we know.
In case you aren't aware, Nick, you hang up there for a long time before you drop.
It's
Like
random
how long-
too.
Like how long are we talking?
Like a full minute after you stop
Wow.
spinning. Like a full minute after you stop spinning before you drop.
Well, yeah, the operators get to pick when you drop, so it's random. You don't get to like count.
Oh, so they could leave you. Oh, I could be that mean. If I worked there, I could be that mean ride op and make people sit up there for like 5 minutes if I really wanted to.
You can sometimes you can tell how busy the park is by how long they leave people up there.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. All right, so my number 2, we're going back to the discoveries, but instead of the giant discoveries, we're going with the giga discoveries. Wonder Woman Lasso of Truth at Great Adventure.
Yeah.
This is probably my most ridden flat ride. Yeah, probably. Or Demon Drop, but I did not put Demon Drop on this list because I'm still torn on if it's a coaster or not. I know a lot of people say it's not, but it does have the characteristics to be a roller coaster. So I didn't want to put that on this list because, some people call it a coaster, some don't.
Demon Drop almost made my list. I thought about it. Not quite, but it almost did.
Yeah, the reason why I didn't put it on here is because, again, is it a coaster? Is it a flat ride? I still don't know how to feel about it, and I don't know if I'll ever come to a decision on that one. But Wonder Woman is awesome. I remember when Great Adventure announced that they were getting this, and they had Cyborg. They added Cyborg like a year or two before, and that ride is just so lame. So it's like night and day compared to this. So yeah, I think Wonder Woman will be at Great Adventure for years to come, and it's a very popular ride. It always has a good line. When I used to have my membership, it was definitely one of those rides that I'd use my skip the line passes for all the time. So yeah, I love Wonder Woman. It's an awesome ride. And again, if I ever go to over Georgia again, I'd love to check out Pandemonium just to kind of compare them. So
they feel the same. I'll say that they feel the same. I really debated between my number 1 and 2. I had a hard time picking between these two for which one was my number 1, which was my number 2. I finally had my decision. At number 2, I have Falcon's Fury at Busch Gardens, Tampa.
Ooh, I forgot about that one. That ride looks awesome.
This is so freaking good, dude. This is my favorite traditional drop tower. And even then, it's not really traditional.
I was going to say,
because
it isn't.
Turning a whole 90 degrees to the ground counts as a traditional drop tower.
I'll say, when you're up there facing down, it's uncomfortable. When you start dropping, it feels more comfortable than the standard drop towers where you're just sitting. It challenges Iron Gwazi for the best ride in the park. Actually, no.
That's a statement.
Actually, no, that's false. It challenges Montu for the second best ride in the park.
Okay.
Iron Gwazi is still without a doubt the best ride in the park, but it challenges for a top 3 ride in the park.
Kuba has really fallen off because I remember when I first was like, became a coaster enthusiast, I guess, like started watching other YouTube channels and things like that. Everyone loved Kumba for the longest time. And then I feel like recently the tide has turned and everyone loves Hulk now, which I mean,
yeah,
I love Hulk. So I agree with that. But
I'd probably rather ride Falcon's Fury over Kumba, honestly.
Wow. Yeah. So you don't really like Kumba that much anymore either, huh?
It's okay. It's just pretty rattly.
Is that what happened to it? Okay.
Oh, yeah. It's intense, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's a B&M sit down. They're notorious for
Oh,
being
yeah.
intense. I feel like I would still like it. I would go in with an open mind, but yeah, no, for real. People don't talk about Kumba as much anymore. I've noticed that.
Mhm.
Anyway, Christian, number 2.
Number 2, so I have the Larson Drop Towers number 2. I've done 2 of these. There's Zero G at Beach Bend and Ozone at Lake Winnie. If I had to pick between the two, I'd probably go the Lake Winnie one just because East Tennessee is a little prettier than Western Kentucky. Sorry. But, Western Kentucky's still pretty, but not quite the same. So yeah, no, these things are just crazy because they're not that tall, they're not that imposing, but they're just so gut wrenching for no apparent reason at all. Plus, because of the way the cover above you is, you can't see when you're going to drop. So they pack a huge punch. I would say that's a punchier drop than drop line, which may be weird to say.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I challenge any drop tower to have a punchier drop than the Arm Larson ones.
Yeah, so that's just that's part of it for me is that they punch way above what you think their weight's going to be. It's pretty crazy. But
wow.
Yeah.
It's cool that you had a ride from Lake Winnie on there. I'm sure that warms Jason's heart.
It's a good ride. It really is. I tell you a ride that from Lake Winnie that I almost put on here, but not quite, and that's Conestoga. This ride,
over there.
I know. I've ridden it one time, but the one ride I rode on it was incredible. You get insane airtime. You go around it so fast. Now, this ride is closed more than it's open. You have to be very lucky, and that's also why I've only ever ridden it one time. It's because it's closed more than it's open.
That describes half of Lake Winnie, though, to be completely honest.
That is true, yeah.
Look at the Lake Winnie love on here. Love to see it, man.
I don't know if calling half the rides closed all the time is love, but
hey, you put a ride from Lake Winnie on your list. This is top 5 flat rides, man. I don't know of many other enthusiasts that would put a ride from Lake Winnie on their top 5.
It's true. It's true.
There you go.
The reason why I didn't put it in my top 5 is because it's closed like 75% of the time.
Ozone?
No, the Conestoga.
Oh, I thought you meant Ozone.
Do they not have the staff and they like choose and pick what they're going to open that day?
They don't have the staff, and apparently it can only run at half capacity now because the motor is dying on it.
Wow. Okay.
It's pretty old. It used to be at Hershey Park.
Oh.
Did it?
Yeah.
Where in Hershey? Oh, you don't know?
No, I don't know.
I'm trying to think what maybe replaced it. I'm going to look that up later. That's interesting. I didn't know that. But anyway, we are now at our number 1s.
Yeah.
My number 1, I really thought long and hard about this, but I went with Frog Hopper at Playland's Castaway Cove.
You're stupid. I didn't.
Spoiler, I actually went with Frogs and Fireflies for my number 1 pot rides.
Nah, I'm just playing. My number 1 is Skyhawk at Cedar Point. I love S&S Screaming Swings. I've only done 2. The other one I've done is at Maurice Piers. I would love to say I have ridden more. Unfortunately, I can't say that right now, but I think the next one that I'll hit is either maybe down in Orlando. Doesn't Fun Spot Orlando have one?
Yes.
Or Finnegan's Flyer, maybe. So
yeah,
I love Skyhawk.
Or Barnstormer. Barnstormer's my
Barnstormer, yeah.
Barnstormer's easily my most ridden flat ride for sure.
Nice. Yeah, that's all I have to say. So you can give your number 1.
All right, for my number 1, I really debated between this and Falcon's Fury, but I gave it to this. My number 1 flat ride of all time is the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror at Disney's Hollywood Studios. This ride is so amazing. This is one of the best rides ever built. I stand by it. Now, I thought about whether it's a flat ride or not because it's more dark ride, honestly, than flat ride. The ending makes it a flat ride with the drop sequence. However, the drop and launch sequence on it is so fantastic. You shoot up and down like 12 or 13 times. It's not like just one drop tower where you just drop down, or even like an S&S tower where you shoot up maybe 2 or 3 times. This one, you shoot up and down like 12 or 13 times. And it's so random, too. I rode it twice on my last visit to Disney. The first time we rode it, we shot up first. The second time I rode it, we went down first.
I didn't have that on this list just because I consider it more of a dark ride than a flat ride. But it would if I considered it a flat ride, I definitely would have had it on this list because it is awesome. I'm also just a sucker for like some good theming.
It does have really good theming too, which has helped its case.
Yeah, I love kind of the horror theming. Disney hasn't really done stuff like that very much ever, and probably won't ever again. So it's very cool to see, and it really helps set the tone for the ride. And like you said, the drop sequence is wild on that.
It's only a seatbelt, which helps the airtime significantly. And the last drop is the really big one that goes all the way to the basement.
It's crazy that one of the best drop towers in the world is at Disney World.
I know.
And it's not even made by like an amusement ride manufacturer. Isn't it like Otis Elevators or something that did it?
I don't know.
Some elevator company made the ride. That's all I know.
I think they helped with it. Yeah.
Disney was a genius when they came up with this ride. And I've also seen the Tower of Terror movie, not the Twilight Zone movies, the actual Tower of Terror movie from the 90s. It's pretty good. It falls in line.
I've never seen it. I don't know.
It falls in line with the ride very well, and it actually uses scenes that show the ride.
Interesting.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I know you like haunted movies, so that doesn't surprise me that you've seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great pick, though, man. Christian, we'll finish it off with you.
All right, my number one, kind of in line with Nick's number one, but my number one is going to be Barnstormer at Dollywood, which is the only SNS Scream and Swing I've done, but it's just so much fun. As you kind of mentioned earlier, Jason, I do wish the cycle was longer. The cycle is unfortunately quite short, but it usually has one of the shortest lines in the park, so you can hop right back in line and do it again.
Mainly because no one likes to walk up that steep hill.
Yeah, I'm hoping they put something else up there. I'm kind of hoping, well, we'll see. When Daredevil Falls eventually goes away, hopefully
which it looks like it survived for another year. It looks like it's gonna stick around for 2024.
I hope it does. I'm conflicted now because I love Daredevil Falls. I want it to stay around, but I also want to get a new coaster up there, and I know that they want to use Daredevil Falls as plot for that. So
you mean it and Mountain Slidewinder's plot. Nick, you used to walk up there to ride Barnstormer and Mountain Slidewinder until Mountain Slidewinder was removed.
That's why I feel like we need another coaster with an entrance up there. That would be great, but we'll see.
So. All right. In recap, my list was number 1, Skyhawk at Cedar Point. Number 2, Wonder Woman Lasso of Truth at Great Adventure. 3, Stratosphere at Knoebels. 4, Sure Shot at Casino Pier. And 5, The Flyers at Knoebels.
For me, it was 1, Tower of Terror. 2, Falcon's Fury. 3, Sure Shot. 4, the SNS Scream and Swings. And 5, the Zamperla Discoveries.
Nice. And Christian?
So I had 1, Barnstormer. 2, just the Larson Drop Towers. 3, Dropline. 4, the Windseekers. And 5, Carolina Sky Tower. Feel free to scream at me in the comments. I had to spin on that, but I do wish I had put Liberty Launch on here now. I don't know why I didn't, but I'm sure I'll think of many later.
Where's that? Kentucky Kingdom, Holiday World?
Liberty Launch,
Holiday World. Okay.
Yeah.
What's the one at Kentucky Kingdom called? I know they have one.
No, they have a Larson Tower.
They have a Larson one.
Kentucky Kingdom has a Larson one. Yeah, it's called Fearfall. Yeah, Fearfall. Yeah.
Nice. Cool. Okay, so that was our top 5 flat rides. And again, feel free to leave us a comment down below your thoughts on this Six Flags Cedar Fair merger. I know everyone's going to have a different opinion on this for good reason. But Christian, before we wrap up, you do not have Instagram, so where else can people find you?
So find me on YouTube. Coasting the Planet is my channel for theme park related stuff. I've also had Variety Entertainment in the past. It's the one with the popcorn bucket. You'll find a lot of my older coaster content there. Although I haven't touched that channel in well over a year because I'm just not sure what I want to do with it at this point, because I wanted to have a separate channel just for coasters. So that's Coasting the Planet. Maybe I'll post some random stuff on Variety Entertainment later, but for now it's pretty dead. But again, you can find my older stuff there if you want to. So
links in the description down below. So Jason, you want to sign us out today, dude?
Real quick, I'll say something first. This video actually is pretty significant for me. This episode of Thrill Life in particular is significant for me because this is the 300th video published to my channel.
Is it?
Mm-hmm. When it gets uploaded, of course.
Awesome, man. That's a great milestone. I didn't know that. Congrats, man.
Mm-hmm. That was one of my goals that I was gonna hit. That I was hoping to hit this year.
There you go.
Well, there you
still
go.
got 2 months to go.
Yeah, so we did top 5 underrated coasters. Now we've done top 5 flat rides. What's next? Top 5 log flumes.
I'd like to do dark rides.
Back for that one.
Yeah, I'd want to do dark rides if we're gonna do something like this again.
I would say invite me back for top 5 log flumes, but I have not ridden 5 log flumes.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely have you on again, man. But
thank you. Yeah, no, I enjoyed it for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So Jason, sign us out, man.
Yeah, so thank you all so much for watching. Thank you, Christian, for joining Nick and I today. And be sure to stay tuned for more episodes of The Thrill Life coming soon. And this is Coasters and Things.
Beyond the Thrills and
Coasting the Planet.
Signing out. See y'all later.